Hi Crafty friends, welcome back. Sandi MacIver here. This is Distress Oxide's Easy Layering Backgrounds number 4. Today we're going to be creating with the new Etched Linear Heart die from Simon Says Stamps, the Script Hello Sentiment die, and the new Geo Leaves stencil from the recent Crafty Hugs release. This is a beautiful stencil with a very geometric design on it, and we're going to ink blend and add the stencil over top. For today, we are using Speckled Egg, Evergreen BOUGH, and Black Soot as our layering colors. And a bonus, the Gina K Glitz Glitter Gel that came in the June card kit from Simon Says Stamps. Everybody needs a little bling, right? To start, I'm going to be blending the 3 colors through the stencil onto a piece of Hammermill white 100-pound cardstock. As I'm going to be adding the gel, the 100-pound will stand up to the moisture that's in the gel. Starting from the bottom, I'm using Black Soot, and I'm going to do a good couple of layers of that. The middle section is going to be the Evergreen BOUGH, and I'm blending that a little bit into the black, but not too much because I don't want to dirty my brush too bad. And then on the top is going to be the beautiful Speckled Egg. This blue is just fabulous. I can see why Tim was so excited to be releasing it. I'm using Post-it tape to hold my stencil down, and I'm just going to peel it back and show you the pretty colors. I'm going to heat set this so that it doesn't bleed too much with the gel, and don't forget to go and wash your stencil right away. So now I'm going to add my art piece onto a thick piece of cardboard, and I'm lining up my stencil exactly where I put the ink through. Okay, and I'm going to be using the gel starting at the top. So this is going to activate the Distress Oxide ink that is underneath, and so you want to be careful starting with the light working towards the dark, just in case you pick up some of the color. It won't show so much. If you started at the bottom and went to the top, you'd pick up some of that black, and then it's really going to mess up that pretty blue at the top of your image. So go over it, make sure you have a nice smooth finish, and I'm cleaning the top of my lid so that it doesn't get too sticky. Remove the stencil, and again you want to wash that immediately, and you end up with that fabulous background that you now have to wait to dry. So while you're doing that, we can move on to card number 2, and this is another piece of Hammermill. Both of these are 4 by 5 1/4, which will eventually end up being my card front, or what I like to refer to as my art piece. So again, I'm starting at the bottom with the Black Soot and adding a good layer there. You don't want to get too dark with this because we're going to be doing a second layer of color over top of the first through the stencil, and you want to be able to see the detail. So you'll notice I'm also moving my paper through the middle of the background paper that I have down to protect my work surface. This is so that I don't pick up any of the black with my blending tool. And you'll see I'm going to flip it around here and go to the third side again, which is the Speckled Egg, and I move all the way over to the left so that I'm again not picking up that Evergreen BOUGH ink. A little tip for you, because it really will pick up the color, and then you won't get the pretty colors blended. They'll kind of all mute out. So again, I'm not going too dark because I'm going to be doing a second layer, but I want to blend those lines together a little bit. You can go back and forth and also go in circular motions to add your ink. And of course the speckled ink pad is nice and juicy because it's brand new, so it was easy to do that. Looking at the Black Soot and how hard I had to work at that, I think that needs to be re-inked. Okay, so then I'm coming in again with my Evergreen BOUGH just to blend out those 2 lines. I'm going to add my clean dry stencil back over top of the art piece that we just did the blending on. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to get an equal amount of design on either side of the card. So just lining it up so that it looks good when it goes onto the card front. I'm going to be using the same colors again, but I'm switching back over to the blending brushes because they work going through the stencil a little bit easier than the blending tools do. So I'm going black on black here, and I'm getting it a little bit darker. And I'm just going to peel the tape back here in a second, show you that it does get a bit darker. Don't forget to take the excess ink off of the top of your stencil, as I just did, or it's going to blend into your next color. So see, you can see the design through there. So I'm going to come in now with the Evergreen BOUGH and do the middle section. And then I'm also going to put it at the top because it shows up a little bit more when you put something dark over top of something light, obviously. And it's going to make the design pop a little bit on the speckled egg at the top. And so then I'm going to take the speckled egg and I'm going to go over top at the black at the bottom. And this is going to add a bit of a highlight for me. And I forgot to take my Evergreen BOUGH off of the stencil, so I just wiped that up. And I'm going in with the speckled egg over top of the Evergreen BOUGH too, because that makes that stand out as well. For the front of this first card, I am going to use the etched linear heart, and this was die cut from a piece of Simon Stee glass cardstock, and you'll see that it's got this beautiful line on the right hand side of it, and we're going to be attaching that to the top of the card for our sentiments. Let's get into the card base. I'm using my Score Buddy to score and fold my card base, and if you do it in there, it keeps it nice and straight, and it also is a great place to add your card top. I don't make my card bases out of colored cardstock. I use white all the time. That way I can just put the card front on and it cuts down on how much of the colored cardstock I have to buy. Here's our pretty art piece now that it's finally dry, and it's a little bit warped because of the gel, so make sure that you add a good amount of adhesive so that it stays down on your card front nice and solid. So I'm just centering that and giving it a good rub from the back just in case my hands are dirty. And I'm using a little bit of foam tape to add my heart to the front. And then I have die cut the two sentiments out of black and white cardstock. I'm going to add a little bit of white glue to the back and attach that to the center of my linear heart. I love this linear heart. It's a little bit of detail behind your sentiment, but not a whole bunch, so it doesn't kind of take away from your card. I'm using the CD Design sentiment strips, and this is the Miss You from the Hey Bestie set, and it's got a little sentiment that I'm just going to add underneath my hello. And not that this card needs any more bling, but I decided to add some flowering clover sequins, also from Simon Says stamp. For the second card, we are going to do the same card base. Okay, so I put a piece of sea glass on top of I think it's Nina Solar White 110 pound card base. I like nice thick card bases. And this one I'm gluing right down. And you'll see that I've also used the same etched linear heart die to cut a heart out of the center. I used the same hello, and I did that with foam tape to pop it up. And I finished it with another pre-printed sentiment from the same set. I had a little bit of bling to this card because it wasn't quite as shiny as the other one. So there you go, another ink blending combo and two different ways to use it. I hope you enjoyed today's cards. I have provided a supply list, free PDF download over on my blog. Just go to the comments under this video and click on the link. If you enjoyed today's share, please consider giving me a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. And until next time, toodles!